Okay, this is another very important part of your job, handshake. Okay, if you work in a hotel, you have to greet people, isn't it? And you have to welcome them. So, handshake is a way of greeting people. It's a positive gesture that we generally use to greet people or to welcome people. Even if you do not work in hotel, even if you work in some other industry, when we meet people, we greet one another, isn't it? And handshake is one of the most common gesture that is used during greeting someone. Okay, so that is why you must know how to shake hands. Yes, all of us know how to shake hands, isn't it? We all know how to shake hands, but there are certain things, there are certain techniques that you should consider or you should take care of when you shake hands. All of us can shake hands. All of us can shake hands, and we also do it, isn't it? In our day-to-day life, whenever we meet someone, we shake hands, isn't it? Now, this is not a new thing for all of us, but how to shake it? Just shaking your hand with someone and correctly doing it. There's a vast difference in between these two gestures. You can just shake your hand and you can go away. But if you did not do it correctly, then a wrong message will be passed, isn't it? So that is why you must know how to shake your hands correctly, how to shake your hand correctly. Now, as I have said that it is a gesture, it is a positive gesture, and it is generally used when we greet people and also when we want to say a goodbye to someone. So it's a brief greeting or parting tradition in which two people grasp one of each other's hands. So it's a process, it's a greeting and parting tradition. And what do? We grasp one of each other's hand and shake it and then leave it. Now, when you offer a handshake, you should always use your right hand. When you offer a handshake, you should always use your right hand. Do not use your left hand. All right? There are certain things that you should take care of when you shake your hand. The first thing is to use your right hand. Now, there must also be a movement. There must be a movement when you hold the other person's hand. Okay, that is why it is known as handshake. You hold one of each other's hand and move your hand. There's a up and down movement of the hands. That is why it is known as handshake. Use your right hand. Do not use your left hand, or do not ever offer your left hand. Now, handshake is a gesture which is globally accepted, but maybe in some cultures it might not be good to shake hands, or they might be less likely to shake hands. It depends upon the place where you are currently at, and it also depends upon the culture and the people of that particular place. Okay, so that is why maybe some people might not be comfortable shaking hands, or some might be comfortable shaking hands. Now, in cities, especially in cities, people are okay with handshakes. People are comfortable with handshakes, especially in a business setting. People are quite okay with a handshake because it is a good gesture. It is a positive gesture. Whenever you meet someone and you want to welcome that person, you can offer your hand and you can shake hands. Okay, now this is considered to be a good thing. It is considered to be a good way of greeting people. But in some places, in some cultures, this might not be considered as a very appropriate way of greeting people. Now in India, in the urban areas, people are quite okay with handshake, but in India, in the rural areas, the people might not be okay with handshake. So if you meet someone in a rural area, or who is from a rural area, who is from a village, that person might not be too comfortable with a handshake. So it depends upon the culture, the people, and you have to also try to understand it before offering your hand. And in India, we generally do a namaste, isn't it? We fold our hands and we do a namaste or namaskar when we greet people. And also in India, touching feet of the elderly is also very common when you meet them. So, like in India, some people are okay with handshake, some people are comfortable with handshake, and whereas maybe some people in the rural areas might not be comfortable with handshakes. Similarly, in the other parts of the world too, some people might be comfortable with handshake and some people might not be comfortable with handshake. So it depends upon the culture and also the place. Now there are different types of handshake. There are different types of handshake and I am going to explain you only a few. These are the common types of handshake. Okay, these are the most common handshake, and these are the handshake that you are not supposed to use. That you are not supposed to use when you greet someone. The first picture that you can see here on the screen is a dead fish handshake. Okay, you are not supposed to shake your hand in this manner. As you can see here on your screen, this one. Okay, this handshake is something that should be totally avoided when you meet someone. Okay, now what is the meaning of this handshake? It is a handshake which has no energy, which is no shake, and there's not even a pinch. You are just touching the finger. You are just touching the finger, and there is no energy, there is no shake, and there's not even a pinch. So it feels like holding the hand of a dead fish. That is why it is known as a dead fish handshake. Okay, this hand, can you see this hand? The way the person has offered his hand, you're not supposed to offer your hand in this way. Okay, this handshake has no squeeze, there is no shake, and there is no pinch, and there's no energy. Okay, so that is why the name of this handshake is dead fish handshake because you feel like you're holding a dead fish. Next is the bone crush handshake. See this? Bone crush handshake. The person is holding the hand too tightly. The person is holding the hand of the other person too tightly, applying too much of pressure. You are not supposed to hurt the other person. Yes, there must be some kind of pressure, there must be some kind of squeeze. Yes, you need some energy to shake your hand, but you are not supposed to hurt the other person while shaking your hand. Okay, so that is why the pressure should be equal. The pressure on the pressure of both the person should be equal. Okay, do not apply too much pressure. Next handshake is the wet fish handshake. Can you see this hand? Now, the wet fish handshake is considered as a handshake which is not at all appropriate. Okay, it is not at all appropriate. See the position of the hand. Just see the position of the hand. You are not supposed to offer your hand in this manner. Okay, because this handshake definitely this handshake means the person does not have a very strong character, the person is cold in nature, or the person has lack of commitment. Okay, so do not ever shake your hand in this manner. Do not give your hand, do not offer your hand in this manner. Okay, every handshake, each and every handshake has a meaning. So that is why I had said that yes, all of us, we know how to shake hand, but we don't know what is wrong and what is right. All these are handshakes because ultimately both the person, they are holding one another's hand, they are grasping one another's hand, isn't it? But it's not a proper one, it's not a proper handshake. Next is the Queen's fingertip handshake. Now see, this handshake is generally common in between men and women. Okay, this is a common handshake in between men and women, but this handshake is not at all a formal handshake. So you're not supposed to offer your hand in this manner. Okay, you should not only offer you should not offer your fingertips for the shake. This is something that should be totally avoided. This should be totally avoided in a professional setting, in a formal setting. Then again, this handshake, the hand hug handshake, can you see? Now this is a very common handshake. This is very popular among sportsperson, among friends. Okay. Now this is again a very casual handshake. Okay. Now this handshake should again be avoided in a professional and in a formal setting. Of course, you can hold your friend's hand in this way, but this handshake should be totally avoided in a professional setting or in a formal setting. Alright, this handshake, the meaning of this handshake is generally it conveys positivity, it conveys friendship, it conveys trust, loyalty. Okay, but in an office setting it is not at all appropriate. This handshake should not be used in a office setting. Okay, in a professional setting. Next is the dominator handshake. See this. See the hand of these person. See the hand on the left hand side. Now, the meaning of a dominator handshake is it kind of shows superiority. Okay, it kind of shows superiority. Now, when the other person holds the hand and turns his or her palm downwards. Okay, see the hand on the left hand side. Can you see the hand on the left hand side? The palm is, can you see the palm? Can you see the palm of the person? The palm of the person is downwards. Okay, now this shows a dominating nature of the person. This shows that I am superior than you and I can dominate you. Now this is the handshake that you should totally avoid. Okay, this is not a good one because this does not convey a good message. Handshake, the meaning of handshake, the motive of a handshake is to spread equality. Okay, we shake hand in order to spread equality, in order to greet people, in order to spread good vibes, not to show superiority or not to dominate someone. Okay, now this is one of the most common mistakes. While shaking hands, I have seen a lot of people, they make this mistake unknowingly. Maybe they don't know the meaning. They would just hold the hand and they would just turn their hand upside down. That means they would just turn their palm downward. But you're not supposed to do this because this conveys a wrong message. Okay, you might not know about it, and that is why you are shaking your hand in this manner, but at the same time it is also conveying a different message, isn't it? But you do not want to dominate the other person, or you do not want to you do not want to share any kind of wrong message. But because you do not know the meaning of the message, because you do not know the meaning of the handshake, that is why you are constantly making this mistake. So you're supposed to avoid it. That's why it is important to know the meaning of the handshakes. Okay, so these are the common mistakes and one should avoid all these handshakes. Okay, whereas hand hug is something that can be done with your friends, with anyone with whom you are personally related, but not in a professional or a formal setting. Next is the equality handshake. So how are you supposed to shake your hand correctly? Okay, a proper handshake. What is a proper handshake? Let me show you what is a proper handshake. Now this is a proper handshake. Can you see the hands? Can you see the position of the hands? Now there must be some kind of pressure. Okay, there must be some kind of pressure. It should be firm, but it should not hurt one another. Okay, it should not hurt the other person. It should not be bone crushing. Okay, it should be firm. There must be some kind of energy. You must apply some kind of pressure, but your pressure should not hurt the other person. And when you see that the other person is applying more pressure, try to make it equal. Okay, try to make it equal. If you see that the pressure on the other side is a bit lower, then decrease your pressure. Okay, so in that way you can do the perfect handshake. Okay, now when you hold the hand, your handshake should last for about 3 seconds, not more than that. Okay, once you hold your hand, your grip should be firm enough. It should apply you must apply some kind of pressure, and you must shake once or twice. Okay, you should leave the hand after the shake is done. After the shake is done, the hand should you should leave the hand. Okay, do not hold the hand for a longer period. I've seen a lot of people who hold the hand for a longer duration. You're not supposed to do it. You're supposed to leave the hand just after the shake is done. And you can shake your hand once or twice. Your shake should not be too harsh. Okay, it should be gentle. Your shake should be gentle. It should not be too harsh. Do not uh, do not look here and there while shaking your hand. You need to maintain proper eye contact. You need to maintain eye contact and good facial expressions. A smile on your face is necessary when you shake hand, because when you shake hand, that means you are greeting, you are welcoming someone, you are sharing positivity, isn't it? But if your expressions are something different, if your expressions are telling a different story, then your handshake is for spreading positivity. You are shaking hands in order to spread positivity, but on the other hand, your expressions are something different. It should match the vibe. Okay, because you are shaking your hand to spread positivity, that is why the expressions should be also similar. There must be a smile on your face. You must maintain eye contact. Facial expressions, you should take care of your facial expressions. So your facial expression should be positive. Your body language should be positive. Now, do not just shake your hand without exchanging any word. Okay, do not just shake your hand and go and run. Okay, if you have time to shake hands, make sure that you at least exchange 2 words. Suppose you are in a hurry, you have to rush. You see somebody, you offer a handshake, and you just go without even exchanging any word. Now that is not something you should do. You should at least exchange 2 words, at least a good morning or a good afternoon. Okay, good morning, good afternoon, hi, how are you? So at least 2 words must be exchanged. At least you should exchange, even if you're in a hurry, at least you should exchange a few words while shaking your hand. And I have seen a lot of people, they meet one another, they would shake hand and they would continue to hold the hand until and unless their conversation is over. Now this is not at all appropriate. Okay, leave the hand after the shake. That is why I said that the shake should last for 3 seconds, not more than that. Do not just be too aggressive while offering a handshake. Okay, do not be aggressive. Do not pull the other person's hand. You offer your hand and wait for the other person to offer his or her hand. Okay, I've seen a lot of people who are so aggressive. They would just not wait for the other person to offer his or her hand, but would just pull the hand. You are not supposed to do it. Okay, you should not do it. You are supposed to wait for the other person to offer the hand. Clean your hand before the shake. Okay, that is also very important. Cleaning your hand is very important. If your hand is sweating, if there is sweat on your hand, then if you offer the same hand for a shake, you are spreading germs, and the other person definitely would not like it. Okay, so that is why clean your hand. If you have a handkerchief, rub your hand before the handshake. And if your hands are really dirty, then do not offer a handshake. And even if the other person offers his hand, you just show your hand and you just express that your hand is dirty. But do not offer a dirty hand. If your hand is sweating, rub it. Okay, clean it. Take the help of a handkerchief and clean it. But do not offer a wet hand or a dirty hand or a sweaty hand. So these are the few things you need to consider when you shake hands. So that's all about handshakes. Students, do you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
Any questions from your end? Any doubt? Do you want to ask me something? Have you understood? So next time you shake your hand, do remember these points. Okay, next time you shake your hand, do remember these points. And of course, presently we should not shake hand because it can spread the virus. But hopefully we will uh, soon be able to shake hands again, and hopefully everything will be back to normal again and this pandemic will be over. Till then, yes, shaking hands would definitely spread germs, so avoid shaking hands currently because of the virus. Okay, but otherwise this is a good way to greet people. This is a positive gesture that is used to greet people. All right. So I hope all of you have understood, students. I have already shared the notes uh, on Friday itself. Okay, last Friday itself. I have already shared the notes. So go through it and let me know if you have any kind of doubt. All right. Do not leave the room. I am just counting. Okay, students, that's all for today. Thank you. And you have a class tomorrow at 11:15. I want you all to join. Okay, so that's all for today. Thank you so much. And go through the notes. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.